Welcome to Crime Chronicles. Today, we're diving into a heartbreaking case that shocked an entire community. Imagine a young girl, full of dreams and hopes, suddenly trapped in a nightmare of relentless torment. What started as harmless teasing soon spiraled into something far more sinister. How did a group of peers push her to the breaking point? Why didn't anyone stop it before it was too late? And who should be held accountable for what happened? This is the tragic case of Charlotte O'Brien, a story that serves as a chilling reminder of the devastating effects of bullying. It's a wake-up call for all of us to recognize the warning signs before it's too late. Viewer discretion is advised. This video contains sensitive topics that may be distressing to some audiences. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Now, let's uncover the truth behind the Charlotte O'Brien case.
Charlotte's parents emailed the school more than 20 times begging for help. She was just 10 years old when her struggles began, but the school called it friendship issues and didn't take action. No one truly listened until it was too late. Charlotte Frances O'Brien was born on January 2, 2012 in Sydney, Australia. She lived with her mother, Kelly O'Brien, her stepfather, Matt O'Brien, and her younger brother, Will. From the start, Charlotte was more than just a sister. She was a mini-mom to Will. She loved taking care of him, playing with him, and making sure he felt safe. Kelly always said Charlotte wasn't just her daughter. She was her best friend and soulmate. Charlotte was full of life. She loved swimming and often joked about being like Moana, never wanting to leave the ocean. Her favorite meal was creamy chicken pasta, which she always looked forward to at dinner. At home, Charlotte was surrounded by love, but at school things felt different. Charlotte was in grade 7, her first year of high school at Santa Sabina College, an all-girls Catholic school in Sydney, Australia. At 12 years old, she was adjusting to a new environment and new challenges. Her teachers saw her as polite and kind, and she had a warm presence around others. But behind the surface, things weren't as easy as they seemed. Charlotte was going through a difficult time, something that no one fully realized. Charlotte's school life hadn't always been difficult, but in 2022, when she was in grade 5, things started to change. That year, her mother, Kelly, gave Charlotte a phone for the first time.
I actually gave her a phone in year 5 because I was late picking her up from school and she was waiting on the corner crying. It was only a few minutes, but we both felt horrible about it. So straight to Telstra we went and she had a phone.
At first, it was just meant to help them stay in touch. But over time, Charlotte wanted to explore more. She asked for apps like TikTok and Snapchat. And though Kelly was hesitant at first, she eventually allowed them, with strict rules. Charlotte didn't always follow those rules. Her phone was taken away multiple times, but she always found a way to get it back. Then, one day in August 2022, curiosity led her to Google. She searched for her biological father's name, not knowing what she would find. What she discovered was something she hadn't been told before. It left her confused and upset. Not knowing how to process it, she confided in a few friends at school. At first, Charlotte felt comfortable sharing her secret with her friends. She trusted them. But over time, things changed. Whispers started in the hallways. Other classmates looked at her differently. What started as small jokes turned into something more. The teasing became more frequent, and soon, Charlotte realized that her secret had spread. Classmates began making comments, repeating things she had told them in confidence. Some laughed, others excluded her, and she started feeling more alone at school. At home, she wasn't as talkative, and she seemed quieter than usual. Kelly noticed the change and tried to understand what was happening. That's when she found out. Charlotte had searched for her biological father online, and ever since, school hadn't felt the same. Wanting to help, Kelly sent an email to the school in August 2022. She explained that Charlotte had shared something personal with her friends, and now, she was struggling because of it. The thought that someone else's actions are still plaguing my baby years later is very hard, she wrote. The school responded, saying they took bullying very seriously, but nothing changed. As time passed, the bullying didn't stop. Charlotte continued to come home upset, feeling left out and unwelcome at school. Kelly held on to hope that things might improve, but they never did. In November 2022, Kelly reached out to the school again, sending another email to ask for help. She wanted the school to take meaningful steps to address the problem. The school responded that a teacher had spoken with Charlotte and her classmates, and the girls had agreed to be kind to each other, but the situation stayed the same. Despite Kelly's efforts, the teasing and exclusion didn't end. Even as Charlotte tried to put on a brave face, her struggles grew. By grade 6, nothing had improved. Kelly continued to send emails, one in May 2023 and another in June 2024, asking the school to help protect her daughter. Each time, the response was brief and no real action was taken. Instead of treating it as bullying, The school labeled it as friendship issues. Kelly explained that Charlotte was struggling, but the school's approach never changed. By August 2024, Charlotte was in grade 7, her first year of high school. Instead of looking forward to a new chapter, she was more distressed than ever. She started coming home in tears nearly every day.
I could see something was wrong, and I said, "Sweetie, I can see you're not okay, but when you're ready to talk, I'm here." And she just burst into tears, and she said, "I'm a monster, I'm a monster, everybody hates me, everybody's so mean to me, I'm a monster."
On August 9th, 2024, Kelly emailed the school again, letting them know Charlotte would be staying home because she wasn't coping. Kelly had tried everything, emailing, attending meetings, asking for help, but nothing changed. On August 17th, Kelly emailed again, explaining that Charlotte's condition had worsened and she had taken her to the doctor. She said the school's response was brief. When she raised the latest case of bullying, they simply told her it had been investigated. But when the girls denied it, the school said, "That's it, case closed, move on." Despite all of Kelly's efforts, no one addressed what was really happening. With no one at school to truly turn to, Charlotte found herself seeking connection online. It was through Snapchat that she met Ava, a grade 7 student from suburban Sydney, Australia. Ava became a small source of comfort in a world where Charlotte often felt alone. They chatted about school, life, and the things that made them happy. In Ava, Charlotte found someone who would listen, someone who would tell her she mattered, something she desperately needed to hear. Ava was supportive and understanding. She encouraged Charlotte to stay positive, reminded her of her strengths, and reassured her that things would get better. Their chats became a small comfort, a reminder that someone believed in her. But despite having Ava's support, Charlotte's struggles at school continued. The teasing, the exclusion, and the lack of action from the school wore her down. Even as Ava tried to keep her spirits up, the challenges Charlotte faced every day felt overwhelming. After weeks of struggling, September 9th, 2024, felt different. Charlotte seemed happier than she had been in a long time. Her father, Matt, later recalled just how bright and full of life she was that day. That evening, everything felt normal. Charlotte ate her favorite meal, creamy chicken pasta, with her family. She worked on her math homework, answering every question correctly. At one point, she even did her little happy dances around the house. She baked banana bread and shared a piece with her father. She played with her mother and younger brother, Will, laughing and enjoying their time together. When it was time for bed, she smiled, said goodnight, and skipped to the shower. No one knew it would be the last time they saw her like that. That evening, she spoke to Ava on the phone, opening up about a group chat where classmates were spreading hurtful messages about her. Ava reassured her, "That's not true. You're none of those things. Don't believe them." Charlotte told Ava she would call back in 5 minutes. Instead, Ava received a message, "I'm sorry." Then the next morning, Kelly walked into Charlotte's room like she always did to say good morning. But what she saw devastated her. As the family tried to understand what had happened, they found a message from Charlotte. In it, she asked her parents to speak up about the bullying she experienced, so no other child would have to endure the same pain. But what hurt her mother the most was one heartbreaking request. She had asked her mother to stay strong for Will because as she felt unable to continue.
I just kept saying to the police that morning, where did she get the knowledge and the means? Where did she get the knowledge and the means? I couldn't wrap my head around it. And he just said to me, this is the age of information. She just needed to Google it.
The day after losing Charlotte, her parents were devastated and searching for a way to honor her final wish. They reached out to 2GB radio host Ben Fordham, hoping her story would be heard. On Monday morning, Fordham told listeners that he was meant to be on leave but couldn't step away after reading Charlotte's family's message. As he spoke, his voice cracked. He tried to hold back tears but couldn't. When he read Charlotte's final messages to her friend, he broke down. For a moment, the studio fell silent. The pain in his voice made it clear. This was more than just another story. Charlotte's family had reached out, hoping someone would finally listen. And now, the world was. Still in shock, Kelly sat down and wrote one last email to Charlotte's school. She expressed her pain, her regret, and her anger that nothing had been done despite her many warnings. It was too late for Charlotte, but she hoped it wouldn't be too late for another child. On Friday, September 13th, students were given a day off to attend Charlotte's funeral at Mary Immaculate Catholic Church in Bossley Park. Hundreds of people arrived, many wearing pink ribbons in their hair, Charlotte's favorite color. Kelly spoke through tears, sharing her love for Charlotte and her hope that no other family would have to go through this.
I will miss everything about you, baby. I will miss your hugs, your kisses, your laugh, your beautiful, beautiful smile.
In the weeks after her passing, Charlotte's parents refused to let her story fade. They launched Charlotte's Legacy, an online fundraiser for Kids Helpline, a service that supports children struggling with mental health. Charlotte would never want us to be broken, Matt said. She wanted kindness. She wanted people to care. But they weren't just raising money. They were also pushing for real change in schools. I've heard schools call it friendship issues. But let's be clear, this isn't a friendship issue. In the real world, it's called bullying, and it needs to be dealt with the right way. In the days following her passing, Charlotte's aunt, Melinda Roger, placed a small memorial outside Santa Sabina College, a simple way to honor her. But just a day later, it was taken down. The school said they removed it for student well-being and claimed mental health experts had advised them to do so. But when a radio host reached out to those experts, they denied giving that advice. The removal surprised many, leaving people questioning the school's reasoning. Following strong public reaction, the school later apologized, admitting their response could have been handled better. They later met with Charlotte's family, but Matt later described the meeting as disappointing, saying it felt like the school wasn't truly listening. Charlotte's story spread across Australia, reaching the highest levels of government. Even Prime Minister Anthony Albanese spoke out, acknowledging that something needed to change. He supported the idea that children under 16 should not have unrestricted access to phones and social media, as cases like Charlotte's show how dangerous it can be when bullying follows kids home.
I've spoken to thousands of parents, grandparents, aunties and uncles. They, like me, are worried sick about the safety of our kids online. And I want Australian parents and families to know that the government has your back.
Charlotte O'Brien should have been safe. Her school should have protected her. But her story is not in vain. Her parents are making sure her legacy sparks real change, because no family should ever have to go through this again.